Welcome back to my channel. She said, dating you feels like settling for leftovers. So I stood up, paid the bill, and walked out mid-meal. Now she's blocked, alone, and telling everyone she made a mistake. As you listen, ask yourself this. What would you do if the person you loved talked about you like that in public? I've never been the flashy type. I don't wear designer clothes, I don't post gym selfies, I don't throw money around to impress people. What I do is show up. I show up for work. I show up for my family. I show up for friends. And for a little over 2 years, I showed up for my girlfriend Emily in every way I knew how. When we started dating, she was finishing school and juggling 2 part-time jobs. She was constantly stressed about money, so I covered most of our dates. When her car broke down, I drove her to work every day until she could afford repairs. When she got sick last winter and missed 2 weeks of shifts, I picked up extra hours so she wouldn't fall behind on rent. I didn't keep score. I never thought I needed to. That's just what you do when you care about someone. You help carry the weight when they can't. Emily wasn't cruel all the time. She could be affectionate, funny, supportive. But every now and then, she'd slip in comments that landed like paper cuts. You're so predictable sometimes. Not everything has to be about saving money. I wish you'd surprise me more, like other guys do. At first, I brushed it off, told myself she was just venting or repeating things she saw online. But disrespect rarely shows up all at once. It arrives quietly, as jokes, as comments you're expected to swallow, until one day you realize you've been asking yourself the same question over and over. Am I not enough? The night everything ended was a Friday. Emily wanted dinner with some of her old college friends at a trendy downtown restaurant. I was exhausted from work, but she was excited, so I went. The place was loud, crowded, and overpriced, the kind of restaurant where you pay too much for too little and pretend it's about the vibe. Emily loved it. She laughed easily, ordered cocktails, soaking up attention like sunlight. I stayed quiet. I wasn't there to be the star. I was there because she wanted me there. As the drinks kept coming, Emily got looser with her words. Not more honest, just less concerned about consequences. Her friends started talking about exes, bad dates, relationships they were glad they left behind.
Then one of them asked, "So, what's it like being in a long relationship? Don't you ever feel like you're missing out?" Emily smirked, lifted her glass, and said it. Honestly, dating him feels like settling for leftovers. The table went silent, that uncomfortable silence where everyone suddenly remembers they're in public. Someone laughed nervously, trying to turn it into a joke, but Emily wasn't done. "I mean, he's reliable and all," she shrugged, "but not exactly the first choice. Still better than being alone, right?" When someone insults you and then waits for you to smile, they're not joking. They're checking if you'll accept your place. I didn't argue. I didn't ask what she meant. I didn't need a translation. Reliable, not the first choice, better than being alone. Her friends wouldn't meet my eyes. A couple of them looked genuinely embarrassed for her. When the check came, I paid the entire bill. Her food, her drinks, everything. Then I stood up. "Where are you going?" she asked. "Home," I said, and I walked out. The cold night air hit my face, and for once I welcomed it. Every step away from that restaurant felt like distance from something I should have left a long time ago. My phone started ringing before I reached my car. I ignored it. Then the texts came. "That was so dramatic. It was a joke, babe. Stop acting like a child." Funny how the person who hurts you always wants to talk about your reaction, never their behavior. An hour later, there was a knock at my door. Emily walked in without waiting to be invited. "Really?" she said. "You're going to embarrass me like that in front of my friends?" I stayed calm. "You embarrassed yourself when you called me leftovers." She rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, it was a joke. Everyone was laughing." "No," I said, "they weren't. They were uncomfortable." Her face hardened. "So what? You're throwing 2 years away over one comment? Grow up." I laughed, not angry, just tired. You don't accidentally call someone you love leftovers, drunk or sober. She froze. You ended us the moment those words left your mouth. For the first time, she had nothing to say. I opened the door. Good night, Emily. The silence afterward was heavy, but underneath it was something else. Relief.
If you're just joining us, here's the short version. My girlfriend of 2 years called me leftovers in front of her friends. I paid the bill, I walked out, I ended it calmly. This is what happened after that. The first week was quiet. Not the painful kind of quiet people warn you about. The unfamiliar kind. For 2 years, my phone never stopped buzzing. A message, a complaint, a request, a reminder, a need. Now, there was nothing. So, I filled the silence with things I'd stopped doing for myself. I went to the gym after work, something I'd put off because Emily always wanted me home. I grabbed beers with coworkers I hadn't seen outside the office in months. I reconnected with an old friend online and played games like I used to. And slowly, something uncomfortable became clear. I hadn't lost a relationship. I'd gotten my life back. 2 weeks after the breakup, a mutual friend sent me a screenshot. Emily had posted a photo clinking glasses with a guy I didn't recognize. The caption said something about finally getting the treatment I deserved. I stared at it for a second, then put my phone down. No anger, no jealousy, just confirmation. She hadn't said leftovers by accident. She meant it. Over the next month, I heard bits and pieces through people still orbiting her life. At first, she bragged. He was spontaneous, exciting, made her feel alive. Then the tone changed. Apparently, he was charming in public and careless in private. Canceled plans, left her waiting, flirted with other women right in front of her. Then he cheated on her after about a month. I didn't feel happy about it. I just felt clear. When someone chases excitement, they often learn what excitement looks like when it turns into disrespect. Meanwhile, my life kept getting quieter, in the best way. I cooked at home, I slept better, I lifted heavier. People at work noticed. One coworker joked that I looked 10 years younger. When people asked about the breakup, I didn't vent. I kept it simple. We went our separate ways. No drama, just distance. 6 weeks after I walked out of that restaurant, my phone buzzed with a number I knew by heart. Hey, can we talk? I stared at the screen for a long moment. Then I locked my phone and went back to what I was doing. A day later, wow, you're really ignoring me after everything. Another message, I just want to clear the air. 3 days passed. Then she tried again. Okay, I messed up. The leftovers comment was stupid. I was tipsy and trying to make people laugh. I didn't mean it like that. I actually laughed when I read it. She was trying to repackage cruelty as a bad comedy routine. That night, my phone rang. Against my better judgment. So that's it? You're just throwing everything away? I'm not throwing anything away, I said. I'm finally keeping something for myself. And I ended the call. Over the next week, she tried everything. Playful messages, apologies, guilt, anger. Even a message from a fake account after I stopped responding. Watching the pattern was educational. People show you who they are when they don't get what they want. Then one Saturday afternoon, there was a knock at my door. Emily stood there. No confidence, no smirk. Her makeup was smudged, her hair pulled back like she hadn't bothered. She clutched her phone like a lifeline. "Can we please talk?" she asked, voice cracking. I stepped aside and let her in. She sat on my couch like she still belonged there. Then she started crying. "I'm sorry," she said. "I never should have said that. You were the only person who ever really cared about me." I stayed standing. Crying doesn't change what you said, or what you meant. She wiped her face. "The guy I was seeing, he didn't care about me at all. He cheated on me. I waited. She was expecting comfort, the old version of me. It didn't show up. And you think that means I should take you back? I asked. I made a mistake, she said. You're stable. You're kind. You're the only person who ever... I stopped her. You don't miss me, I said. You miss the way I made your life easier. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. That's not true. It is, I said. You called me leftovers. Then you went looking for something better. Now it blew up and you want the safe option back. That's not love, I continued. That's convenience. Her desperation turned into anger. You think you're better than me now? No, I said evenly. I just respect myself. She stormed out. And I felt calm. About a month later, a friend hosted a small get-together. I almost skipped it when I found out Emily would be there. Then I realized something. I wasn't going to keep shrinking my life to avoid someone who disrespected me. So I went. She noticed me immediately, tried to act normal. Too normal. Eventually, she cornered me near the kitchen. You look good, she said. Thanks, I replied, and gave her nothing else. She hesitated. I've been thinking about us. Maybe we could try again. Start fresh. I looked at her. You made yourself very clear. You were leftovers, remember? Her face went pale. And now, I continued, you're asking for a second chance because the guy you chose didn't want you. So tell me, I said calmly, if I was leftovers, what does that make this? People nearby went quiet. Emily had no answer. I walked away. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I was done. And being done felt like peace.